Sorry about that. Streamlabs crashed. We are back underway here at Iowa Speedway. Cody Moore leads the field after the restart, and here comes Will Witt. He is able to take second place over Eddie Morris. We got Colin Willems coming, trying to take third. Got a big run on the outside. Side by side on the backstretch. Willems with the nose heading into 3 and 4. No, Morris loses it through 3 and 4. What a save, though. That could have been very, very bad. That will cost Eddie a ton of momentum. We see he falls way, way back through the field. So Cody Moore, 3/10 lead over second place, Will Witt. Here comes Matthew Scott trying to reel in his teammate Colin Willems for the third place position. Scott looks high, looks low, trying to set up the pass here. Looking to see what Willems is doing, and we just saw Cody Moore run the fastest lap time of the race. 24.54 was the time for the 52 machine. But here comes Will Witt. He is reeling him in very, very quickly. Watch out for that 35 machine. We see he does lose a little bit of ground there, though, heading into turns 1 and 2. Elsewhere in the field, Brian Nudie trying to get by Devin Butchino for this 5th place position. And Eddie Morris is reeling in Brian Nudie for the 6th place position. Two former teammates, both of them were teammates at CCM. Eddie Morris trying his best to close the gap right now. We saw 4 drivers, they just ran their personal best lap times. Drivers have some great pace right now. Got to take advantage of that. Make some moves while you can, while the tires aren't causing your car to push up. Devin Butchino reeling in Matthew Scott for this 4th place position now. And again, we may have a battle for the lead beginning to brew. Top 3 extremely tight right now between the 3 Wasted Wages Racing teammates. There's a really good chance that we will have a Wasted Wages Racing 1, 2, 3 tonight. Currently 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all Wasted Wages Racing drivers, and then 6th is a Wasted Wages Racing driver. We could have a Wasted Wages Racing top 5. They're having a great race tonight here at Iowa, despite being 2nd in the team standings. This track just really seems to benefit to all drivers' driving style. So we'll see in this battle with the top 3 who will make the move first. And it's looking like it may be Willems on Witt for 2nd. We see he closes the gap a lot through 3 and 4. And again, with a great corner exit, able to close it even more. But again, these top 3, they're going to run each other pretty clean. They're teammates. You don't want to wreck your teammate so early on in the race. We're not even to the halfway point yet. We will be in 3 laps. Lap number 75 will be the halfway point of this race. And we got a caution. Caution flag is out here at Iowa. This is the I have no idea now how many cautions we have. All right. So we are watching Charles Balance going through turns 1 and 2. About in the middle of the racetrack. Maybe 3/4 of the way up the racetrack. He goes way up into the marbles pretty much. And we see that car just gets very upset, comes out from underneath him. And he gets loose. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack onto the apron. And he hits the inside safer barrier, giving him some left front damage. Cheeseburger misses him. So it looks like nobody else makes contact with them. Single car spin brings out the caution. Got some drivers on pit road. Matthew Scott, first driver off of pit road. Then it's Brett Merle, Devin Bucciano, Brian Nudi, Brian Merle Jr., Josh Hall, Eddie Morris, Joe Wright, Ryan Gomes, and Dave Wright. All of them taking it off of pit road. Looks like it was just a gas and go for Matthew Scott. I believe Brett Merle took right side tires only. And then the rest of the field, Bucciano, Nudi, Jr., Hall, Morris, Gomes, Wright, Joe Wright and Dave Wright, all of them take fresh tires. So top four, all on older tires. We'll see how long they can hang on with the drivers on the fresher tires trying to come up through the field. And we have just gotten past the halfway point. And we are going to do something really, really fun on this restart. We are going to do a pump up the intensity restart where we are going to turn up the volume on the restart. You're going to get to see the sounds and sights of a race restart here at Iowa Speedway. Gonna have that volume blasting, so we'll do that on the restart. In the meantime, Cody Moore will be your leader. Will Witt in second place, Colin Willems in third, Jake McCarty in fourth, and Matthew Scott in fifth. At this point in the race, here are going to be my ones to watch. Starting off, Cody Moore and Will Witt. These two have been up front for most of the race. They have led majority of the laps, and they have just been extremely fast. I think a Wasted Wages racing car is going to break into victory lane, and both of these two are on Wasted Wages Racing. And again, I'll say it again. They have just looked really, really good all race long. So I have a feeling they're going to come. They're going to come within very close to victory lane, even if they don't win. And then my other driver to watch is the third place driver, Colin Willems. He actually has a win here at Iowa. He won the Season 4 Xfinity race here, so he's got experience getting a victory at Iowa, so we'll see if he can do that again. This would be his second race win here at Iowa in a row. Get it done in the Crown Royal black car. Very well could. All right, lights are off on the pace car. We're getting ready to go back green. Cody Moore will be the control car on the outside lane. Underneath him, it's his teammate, Will Witt. In third, starting behind his teammate, that is Colin Willems. Fourth is Jake McCarty. And rounding out your top five, that is Matthew Scott, also starting behind his teammate. All right, we're going to pump up the intensity again. You'll get to see the sights and hear the sounds of this race restart. Here we go. There you go. That'll do it for Pump Up the Intensity. Hopefully you enjoyed us turning up the volume. We set our sights now back to the racing action where Cody Moore has a 4-second lead over second place Will Witt. We were just watching it there. The battle's on for fourth. Matthew Scott and Brian Nudi, two teammates duking it out. Right now, Scott has the nose on the outside lane, making it work. Not in the preferred groove. We see a little wiggle there off of turn number 2 that hurts his momentum a little bit. Now the run is to Brian Nudi on the bottom, and he is able to get clear. Brian Nudi to fourth, and he is making a move on third. Side by side with Will Witt as they cross the stripe. And can he get clear? Yes. Brian Nudi is able to get clear as they head into turns 1 and 2. Brian Nudi went from 5th to 3rd in a very short amount of time. Two very good calculated moves. And now he is one step closer to grabbing the race lead from Cody Moore. Matthew Scott getting some pressure from Devin Butchino. Butchino underneath him on the front stretch. They are side by side into 1 and 2. Butchino with the nose. And he is able to get clear. Devin Butchino is to the race lead. With Matthew Scott falling to 6th, or Devin Butchino, sorry, into the top 5. Matthew Scott falls to 6th. Now Devin Butchino looking to try to get by Colin Willems for this 4th place position. These two are not teammates. I have a feeling they're going to race very hard around each other. There he is, Butchino taking it to that yellow line on the bottom of the racetrack. Devin Butchino, oh, Butchino loses it off of 4. That will bring out the caution. Looks like nobody else makes contact with him. That was certainly a close one. Let's take a look at exactly what happened to Butchino there. Man. All right, let's take a look. Butchino, Willems running side by side, and guess maybe Butchino making those final cuts off the corner. Loses the 68. Yeah, just another moment of somebody, of their car coming out from underneath them. Luckily, nobody else was involved. Drivers really struggling tonight. Even the best of the best, like Devin Butchino, a former SCSRA champion. Iowa Speedway has taken a lot of victims so far tonight. Got some drivers on pit road. Cody Moore, Will Witt, and Colin Willems making a stop. Let's see what's going on. So, I believe, yeah, it's going to be a 4-tire stop for these 3. Going to get some fresh Goodyear tires, and this will have them at a little bit of an advantage compared to the rest of the field. So this will give Brian Nudi the race lead now. We'll see what Brian Nudi can do. And one thing that we're going to do tonight is we are going to look at some of the driver bios. So starting off, let's take a look at one of our rookies this season, Charles Balance. Charles Balance is married, and he's from a small town called Pikeville, North Carolina. He works at Young's Auto Center, which is one of the largest salvage yards on the East Coast. He is the production shipping manager, and he's been on iRacing for 3 years. He has a B license, and he said he's looking forward to some good racing and looking for a team to join. And I also want to mention this. Charles Balance is a official for Southern National Motorsports Park, which is a NASCAR short track. Some big name drivers race there. I've raced there in real life. It's a great track, and so it's always cool to have somebody from NASCAR in the series. And Charles Balance, yeah, he's a NASCAR official. We'll look at one more driver bio. Always cool to have the fans get to know some of the drivers in the field. So let's talk a little bit about Jake McCarty. Sorry, he isn't in the field. Now let's talk a little bit about Brett Merle. Let's talk about his bio. So Brett Merle is the younger brother of Brian Merle Jr., another driver in the field. He's a huge Steelers fan, kind of a football nerd. He recently switched jobs from an outside oil and fuel salesman for Relodyne to be a service writer at a used car dealership. He is absolutely terrible money move, but he's definitely a lot happier. He got married 2 Junes ago, and he recently purchased his first house. When he was a kid, Sterling Marlin was the guy when he retired, and Jimmy Johnson was the rookie from California. So he became a Jimmy Johnson fan. He really liked William Byron in the Xfinity series. So after that, he became a Byron fan. He races at Redwood Acres. He started at 14 in a Roadrunner. So he is going to be restarting in 4th. Brian Nudie, control car on the outside lane. He has Matthew Scott underneath him. It's Brett Merle, Eddie Morris, Josh Hall. Green flag is back out. There is Brian Nudie up to the gears, heading into 1 and 2. Matthew Scott able to get clear and has sole possession of that second place position. And Brett Merle is able to get 3rd now. Brett Merle making a move on 2nd. He gets to his rear quarter panel. Oh, Brett Merle loses it off a 2 into the inside wall. No caution flag, though. We will stay green flag racing. So Matthew Scott will stay in the 2nd place position. That was probably an announcer jinx right there. I was literally just reading Brett Merle's bio so the fans could get to know him a little bit better. And all of a sudden, off a 2, he was into the inside wall. So sorry about that, Brett. I think I gave you the announcer jinx there. The battle's on for 3rd between Eddie Morris and Josh Hall. Big run on the bottom for Eddie. He's got the nose. Oh, almost make contact on the front stretch. Eddie is able to get clear as they head into turns 1 and 2. And we have another yellow flag. 4th caution of the race is out. Sorry, that is not true. We've had more than 4 cautions, but another caution is out. We'll see what happened. I believe it was Ryan Gomes involved in this one. So we'll see what happened to Gomes. So here he is running on the high side in no man's land. Gets up in those marbles. So far, so good. Like that was not the caution. This could be it. We're watching David Hartney. Got a big run on the outside. He's got Dave Wright underneath him. And he is also running on that way high side. Up in the marbles. Not a lot of traction up there. And we see he's already starting to get loose, and then it fully comes out from underneath them. He gets into his former teammate, Dave Wright. Then he cocks to the right, up the racetrack, into the wall. Heavy damage to the front end of that 43 machine. Ouch. So Brian Nudi, he remains in the race lead. So far, we saw three drivers. Three drivers have fresher tires than the rest of the field. As I say that, we just saw Ryan Gomes and Dave Wright come in and take tires. But Witt, Willems, Moore, they all have fresher tires than the rest of the drivers in front of them. We'll see how quickly they can work their way up to the field. If you are an Intensity Broadcasting fan, make sure to go check out IntensityBroadcasting.com. There we have merchandise from your favorite broadcaster, your favorite drivers, your favorite leagues, and so much more. We have all of our Intensity Broadcasting merchandise on there. Atley Wiese Racing merchandise, iRacing in real life, so if you want to support my real life racing, you can pick up some of my merchandise on there. We've got a bunch of cool auto racing novelty t-shirts and hats. We even have a onesie if you are an iRacing dad. We got our driver collections, 3 Legends drivers, up-and-coming Legends drivers, or up-and-coming racers looking to try to make their name for themselves, running on the East Coast of the United States. So definitely help support their real-life racing endeavors by picking up some merch. We've got our lifestyle collections and then our team collections. And then we have our league collections, especially. Make sure to check out the SCSRA section. Go pick up an SCSRA t-shirt. Comes in 5 different colors: black, navy, red, sport gray, and white. Comes in sizes small to 5XL. Getting ready to go back green. Brian Nudi will be the control car on the high side. Underneath him is his teammate Matthew Scott. Behind them, it's Eddie Morris. What a great run for Josh Hall in 4th. And then Joe Wright is in 5th. Pace car is in. Green flag is back out. We have less than 50 laps to go here at Iowa Speedway. Nudi able to shut the door on Matthew Scott as they head into turns 1 and 2. Got the side-by-side battle for 3rd between Josh Hall and Eddie Morris. Morris with the nose heading off of turn number 2. And he continues to have a nice run into 3 and 4. Can he shut the door? Not quite yet. There he is. He is able to. Eddie Morris has sole possession of that 3rd place spot. Now Josh Hall under pressure from Will Witt, who has fresher tires than him. Keep that in mind. There he is. He got a nice run off of turn number 2. With those fresher tires, you have so much more traction on corner exit. We see Joe Wright slides up the racetrack. Whoa! What a save. That could have been bad. I don't know how him and Cody Moore prevented a wreck there. That was crazy. Will Witt able to get by Josh Hall now. He is the highest driver on fresh tires. And we see Joe Wright loses the car again. This time he's not so lucky. I don't think he saved it. I think he barreled into the wall. No caution flag will come out, though. Eddie Moore's coming up on Matthew Scott for the second place position. He's got the preferred groove on the bottom lane, gets to his door. But then we see off of 2, Scott with a good run. Able to get clear over Eddie Morris. Right now, Scott with the nose on the high side. Here comes Eddie Morris. Big run on the bottom. Eddie with the preferred groove, but that outside has worked for some people throughout tonight. They remain door-to-door into 1 and 2. Great battle. Neither driver giving one another an inch, but it's been a clean battle. No, Scott gets loose. That kills his momentum, and Eddie Morris is officially able to get clear of him, and he takes that second place spot. Battle's on for third now, Will Witt, and he is able to get by Matthew Scott. Again, Will Witt with those fresher tires, trying to use them to his advantage by working his way up through the field. He's just got to pick off Eddie Morris and Brian Nudie, and he will be up in that race lead. Scott keeping it close with Will Witt, though, not letting him get too far ahead. But there we go, Witt able to extend that gap between himself and his teammate. Brian Merle Jr. looking underneath Josh Hall for the 6th place position right now. Big run on the bottom, and he gets clear. Brian Merle Jr. up to that 6th place position, while Josh Hall falls to 7th. Devin Bushnell looking underneath that 81 machine now. Josh Hall restarted in the top 5, but he is falling like a rock. Devin Bushnell able to shut that door. He gets to 7th. And Josh Hall may just lose 8th now to Colin Willems. Josh Hall, floodgates certainly have opened for him since the most recent race restart. Yeah, he's fallen to 9th now after restarting in 4th, I believe. He's lost 5 spots. Field getting very spread out. This is one of the longest green flag runs we have had all race long. Brian Nudie currently a 5/10 lead over 2nd place Eddie Morris. Let's do a quick run by through the field to see where your favorite driver currently is running. Got Brian Nudie in 1st. 2nd place is Eddie Morris. In 3rd place, that is Will Witt. 4th is Cody Moore. Rounding out your top 5, that is Matthew Scott. 6th is Brian Merle Jr. 7th is Devin Bushnell. In that 8th place spot, that is Colin Willems. 9th is Josh Hall. And then rounding out your top 10, that is Dave Wright. Got a battle for 5th. Brian Merle Jr. very slow on the bottom of the racetrack. Looks like something caused him to lose a lot of momentum. I don't know if he got loose. Maybe he hit the outside wall. We see he pushes way up the racetrack off of turn number 2, trying to protect that position from Josh Hall. The battle for the lead is beginning to close. Eddie Morris trying to reel in his former teammate. These two were both teammates at CCM before that team folded and drivers went their separate ways. Nudie went to Wasted Wages Racing, and we saw Eddie, he went to Neon. And here comes Will Witt closing the gap as well. Cody Moore's there. We have a very tight gap between the top 4. You could throw a blanket over your top 4 right now. Love to see this good racing towards the later portions of this race. Still got many laps to go. Eddie Morris. Everybody stays in their respective positions at the moment. Eddie Morris drives it down to the bottom, and he is able to get underneath Nudie. They're side by side. Big run off of fourth for Nudie on the outside lane. He keeps it in first place, and here comes Will Witt. Trying to get by Eddie Morris now on the outside as well. Another big run on the bottom for Eddie Morris, wrapping that yellow line. Brian Nudie keeps it. He has a nose over Morris on the outside lane. But again, Nudie has such great runs off of the corner. Well, it seems like Eddie has good straightaway and corner entry speed. And looks like Eddie Morris just lost the second place position. Will Witt gets by on the outside now. Will Witt looking underneath his teammate Brian Nudie. Gotta remember, Will Witt has fresher tires compared to Nudie. Able to get to his rear quarter panel. Big run off of two. We see Eddie Morris lost the third place spot to Cody Moore. He went from second to fourth in a very short amount of time. Lost a lot of ground there. Big run off of four. Witt able to get underneath Brian Nudie for this lead. He is there. Here comes Cody Moore on the outside trying to make a move up there. And he is able to get clear. Cody Moore now trying to track down Brian Nudie to try to take this race lead. Cody Moore looking down low, trying to execute his move here in 1 and 2. He is to the rear quarter pin on Nudie. He is to the door. He's got a nice run off the exit of turn number 2, and he is able to shut the door. Cody Moore is to the lead here at Iowa Speedway. Getting clear over Brian Nudie. Nudie falls to second, and he might lose that second place position as we see Will Witt comes up on him. There goes Will Witt underneath Brian Nudie. Side by side on the backstretch. And also, yeah, we're seeing those fresh tires really come into play. They're able to go right by Nudie, both Cody and Will, while Nudie and Morris, they're both falling behind a little bit. We see Nudie pushes way up the racetrack. I would say the pit window is officially open to get some fresh tires for drivers that came in to take tires on lap number 74. So that applies to guys like Brian Nudie, Eddie Morris, Devin Bucciano, Matthew Scott. I think we're going to see these drivers come in very, very soon. The question is, when will that time be? Cody Moore coming up on lap traffic. That is Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. We see Cheeseburger keeps it on the high side, not giving Cody or Will any trouble. We are approaching 25 laps to go in this race. Loving this long green flag run that we're seeing. Oh, we see Dave Wright is slow on the bottom of the racetrack. Not sure what's up with that. Dave is having some sort of struggles right now. I don't know if his tires are just pretty much gone or if he's running out of fuel. I don't think he's running out of fuel. I just think his tires are extremely worn right now. I'm surprised. I'm waiting to see guys like Nudie, Morris, and Bucciano come in to take tires. And oh, We may see that. Yellow flag is out with 23 laps to go. We're going to have a nice late race shootout with the field bunched back up. See what happened here. So we're watching Colin Willems heading through turns 3 and 4. And we see, yep, the same thing that's been happening to even the best of drivers all race long. Car comes out from underneath him off of turn number 4, and he just loses it. This time, like we've seen from some other drivers, the car does not cock to the right. It stays going towards the left, going towards the inside safer barrier. Well, you see he keeps it off it. He's going through the infield, through the Legend Oval 1 and 2. Luckily, it does not look like he makes contact with anybody else. Majority on the field on pit road right now. Yes, the whole field is on pit road. We're going to have an even playing field with the tires. Eddie Morse with the advantage. He does have that first pit stall. Joe Wright wins the race off of pit road. It was just a gas and go for him. Then it's Brian Nudie, Will Witt, Eddie Morse, Cody Moore, Devin Butchno, Matthew Scott, Josh Hall, Colin Willems, Brian Merle Jr. So it looks like we saw the entire field pretty much came in and took tires except for one guy. That is Joe Wright, who is coming into the pits this time by. I believe he will be taking tires. He only took fuel last time by. So now, and Dave Wright coming in, Charles Bounce coming in, the whole field for this late race shootout. They're going to be on an even playing field with the tires. It's going to be up to who can be the best driver in this final little run we're going to have. At this point in the race, for many of the drivers, patience is running out. And this is short track racing. We may see some drivers break out that chrome horn in the final 10 to 5 laps. So Brian Nudie, he is your leader. Will Witt in second, Eddie Morse third, Cody Moore in fourth, Devin Butchno in fifth. I want to mention 3 out of the top 5 are Wasted Wages Racing drivers. I still think we have a very good potential to have a Wasted Wages Racing 1, 2, 3 finish. Cody Moore just has to get by Eddie Morse for third. So this is it. This is going to be a fun late race shootout to watch. It's going to be all about who can have the best short run speed. Because these tires are not going to wear too much in this 17-lap shootout we're about to see. So there we go. Lights are off on the pace car. Brian Nudie, who was the control car, he will elect to restart on the outside with his teammate Will Witt underneath him. Then it's Eddie Morse in third. Got Cody Moore starting behind his teammate in fourth. And then rounding out your top 5, that is Devin Butchno. Like I mentioned before, 17-lap shootout. to decide this thing. The question is, will we not have another caution? Or will we see the phrase ring true, cautions breed cautions, and we'll have another caution before the race's end? That's the question that's about to be answered in these ensuing 17 laps. Pace car is in. Green flag is back out. There's Brian Newty taking off. Leads the field into turns 1 and 2. Nice run for Cody Moore on the outside lane. He's able to take advantage of the fact that he was starting behind the control car, and he gets to second place now. Will Witt stays right on his back bumper, though, not letting him get too far ahead. We just saw a car into the outside wall there. So Will Witt trying to get by his teammate for second place. He's got a nice run off of turn number 4, approaching that rear quarter panel of the 52. Not quite there yet. He's getting close. And looks like Cody Moore, he is reeling in your leader, Brian Newty, for the lead. It is a 1-2-3 wasted wages racing field right now. Cody Moore on those fresh tires. He just ran the fastest lap from the race, 24.50. Big run off of 2. He's able to get to Brian Newty's rear quarter panel. He is to his door. They are side by side through 3 and 4, door to door off the corner. They're pretty much equal. Neither driver. Oh no! Moore gets loose off of 4. He is able to save it though, but he loses a ton of momentum. Will Witt, he is reeling in Brian Newty now. He is to the second place spot. Cody Moore falls to 4th, trying to get by Matthew Scott for 3rd. He's able to get underneath him. Scott keeping it in the 3rd place spot for the time being. Running that defensive line, trying to hold off his teammate. But a big run, Cody to his door, off of 2. They are door to door through 3 and 4. Moore with the nose off the corner. Oh, a little wiggle costs him some momentum, and he stays in the 4th place spot for the time being. Devin Butchino. Oh, we got a battle for the lead beginning to brew. Will Witt reeling in Brian Newty for that 1st place spot. As I say that, Brian Newty extends that lead, but Will Witt cuts it right back as they head off of turn number 2. Will Witt chasing Brian Newty. He's able to get off the corner a little bit lower than Newty can. 10 laps to go. 40 more turns for Brian Newty, and he will be able to park it in victory lane. But I don't think it's going to be without a fight from Will Witt, who is keeping it very close to Brian Newty's back bumper. Big run through 3 and 4. Witt able to get to Newty's door. Right now, no further. And he loses Newty on corner entry. Man, but look at that exit speed for Witt. He keeps it door to door with Newty. Maybe not quite door to door, as Newty is able to get back clear over Will Witt off of turn number 2. Once again, Will Witt going to try to set up the pass on Brian Newty. And oh, we're going to have a late race shootout again. Yellow flag is out. Let's take a look at the wreckage replay to see exactly what happened. It looks like it was Colin Willems. So it looks like this is a chain of events. like we always do, we're going to do it in slow motion so we can fully digest what's going on. So here's Eddie Morris. Looking underneath Colin Willems, we see Willems comes down the track. He was clear, but Morris gets into his back bumper, giving him a little bit of a boost into the corner. And we see he gets loose and pushes way up the racetrack. And unfortunately, there was somebody on his outside. He pushes right up into Cody Moore, breaking him loose. And I thought Willems was going to be able to save it, but no. He is sideways off of 4. Locks up those brakes. So it's looking like we have the potential to have a green-white checkered to decide this thing. Again, everybody pretty much on an equal playing field with the tires. Everybody came in on lap 29 to get their fresh tires. Yeah, we are going to have a green-white checkered, I believe. If not that, then maybe a green-white checkered. So let me know in the pick, or in the chat, who you think is going to be able to get it done with this late race shootout. And Brian Newty has led a lot of this race, a lot of the later portions here. But Will Witt, he was charging hard. Yes, it is going to be a green-white checker to decide this thing. All right, lights on the pace car are off. We're getting ready to go back green here. Brian Newty, the control car, restarting on the outside. Underneath him is his teammate Will Witt. Third is Matthew Scott, who's starting behind his teammate. Fourth, we got Eddie Morris. And then rounding out your top 5, that is Devin Bucciano. Making that left turn onto pit road. Here we go. Green flag is out. We're going to have a green-white checker to decide this thing. Brian Newty up to the gears. He leads the field into 1 and 2. Will Witt is able to get clear for second. Side by side for third. It's Matthew Scott. Eddie Morris battling it out. Nice run for Scott heading off of turn number 2. But here comes Eddie Morris on the outside lane. We've seen a few people be able to make it work up there. Can he get it done? All right, the battle is on for the lead. 1 lap to go to decide this thing. Will Witt keeping it right on Brian Nudi's back bumper, but can he get to him? Nudi up the racetrack. Will Witt able to get off the corner a lot lower. He is to his rear quarter panel. They're side by side through 3 and 4. Neither driver giving one another an inch. They remain door to door. Off of turn number 4, who's going to grab it? It's going to be a close one. It's going to be Brian Nudi. On the outside lane will secure the Blue Ridge Auto Group 165 victory. What a finish. Brian Nudi will end the streak of unique winners, and he will grab his 2nd win of the season. Will Witt takes 2nd, and in the side-by-side battle between Scott and Morris, we see Scott gets 3rd, Eddie gets 4th, and then Joe Wright gets 5th. And now, Brian Nudi gonna be able to burn it down for the 2nd time this season. The race has gone a little bit late the last few weeks, or the last week. But this time, because of some of the long green flag runs that we have seen, we are going to be having some interviews tonight. Going to be interviewing the top 3 to see what their take was of the events of the Blue Ridge Auto Group 165. Got Mike Scott on Facebook. He says, nice work. Appreciate the kind words. And we're going to start off our interviews. Let me get the results up. We're going to start off our interviews by pulling in your 3rd place finisher. He is a driver for Wasted Wages Racing. Let's talk to Matthew Scott. Hey, this is Atley in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Atley, how's it going?
Doing pretty good up here in the broadcast room, and looks like you were doing pretty good out there on track tonight, able to put together a great race here at Iowa Speedway. And it kept it in the top 3 for most of the race. Looked like you had a good pit strategy. Did a good job saving tires. And you were there in the end when it mattered. Saw on that the last green light checkered. Had a great battle with Eddie Morris and came all the way down to the wire. But you were able to get the best of him and break onto the podium. So walk us through your night here at Iowa Speedway. And, what was your take on this race?
I mean, it was just it was a really fun race, actually. That car was set up extremely loose, so it was a big-time driver car. Had to save the tires big time. I mean, really save the car. There was a ton of people almost spinning out all night. It really just came down to a bunch of side-by-side battle, and I mean, it was awesome. It was a fight wherever you were at tonight. It was a good time.
Yeah, no, like you mentioned, tires very important here at Iowa. What was the key to saving tires here tonight?
I mean, really, it was just being smooth on the throttle. It's the first time, really, this season that we've run anything that ate up the right rear more than it ate up the right front. So it was more being a little bit more cautious on the throttle, and then getting it kind of rolled over. It would just want to spin out on entry. So it was just one of those go faster to go slower situations all night, and I kind of started feeling it a little better towards the end there.
Now, before we let you go, is there any sponsors or shout-outs you'd like to thank for your race?
I mean, just everybody at SCSRA. We've been having a lot of fun this year. Everybody watching from home. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having us, and thanks for putting on the broadcast tonight, buddy.
Absolutely. Definitely had a great time calling this race and seeing you do really well here tonight at Iowa Speedway. So, again, congrats on the podium. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, buddy. You as well.
Thank you. All right, let's now pull in your 2nd place finisher from Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. Also a driver with Wasted Wages Racing. Let's pull in Will Witt V, number 35. Will, this is Atley in the broadcast room. We got a copy.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Well, a great run tonight for you and your Wasted Wages Racing teammates here at Iowa Speedway. I know we saw you in the top 3 for a lot of this race, battling with your other teammates, battling with Nudie, battling with Cody. And you got to the lead a little bit for a few laps, but you're mostly kind of running that bridesmaid spot behind Cody, and then on those last few laps running behind Nudie. And you were there in the end. What a photo finish. What a phenomenal finish. Probably the best finish we've seen all season between you and Nudie. Came all the way down to the stripe, and it came down to 200ths of a second, but Nudie was able to get the best of you in a close finish. So walk us through your race and walk us through that last green-white checker where it came down to the wire between you and Nudie.
Oh man, that race was a bunch of fun. Racing with teammates. I know we were one through five, a couple different points. It was a really racy track. We really had to pedal the car. Especially getting down towards the end of that race where it was me, Cody, Brian, kind of all battling for the lead there. That green white checker, I'm still shaking from it, honestly. Just trying to get the right move, and he kind of made a little mistake, and I was able to kind of diamond it, try to get alongside of him, and then going to 3 and 4, coming out of 4, we both pedaled it. I heard him get out of the throttle, and I had to get out, so I didn't get up into him. Honestly, anybody else out there, I probably lean on him a little more, but that race was just a ton of fun. I'm kind of speechless at this point.
Now, throughout tonight, I mean, this is... I definitely noticed it. I heard it from the DBC Racing drivers. This setup was loose. The track was loose. How were you able to combat that looseness throughout the race and keep that car going straight?
Yeah, it was extremely loose. I mean, you had to drive like you had an egg between your pedal and your foot. You could not get on the throttle. It was really tough to get the power down. Any little mistake, you were getting sideways. So it was just being very smooth, very consistent, not over aggressive at all. If somebody's kind of coming up behind me, I just would focus on my race. I didn't worry about anybody else around me, just because if you made one mistake, you're going to the infield.
Now, before we let you go, Will, is there any sponsors or shout-outs you'd like to thank for your race?
Oh, for sure. I got to thank all my teammates. That was such a fun race, especially Cody and Brian. We were battling, cross each other over, and just having a great time. The rest of my teammates, Colin and Matt. Great run by those guys. Everybody for putting the league on. Devin, I think Brian helps out Eddie, all them guys. Obviously for you up in the booth for sticking it out and always doing a great job week in and week out.
Awesome. Well, again, congrats on the runner-up tonight, Will. Have a great rest of your night.
Hey, thanks, you too.
And now, let's pull in your winner. He was your SCSRA Truck Series Season 3 champion. He's got 20 career wins. Just got his 21st tonight from Santa Rosa, California. Driver for Wasted Wages Racing. Let's pull in your winner, Brian Nudie. Brian, this is Atley in the broadcast room. You got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Awesome. We'll win number 2 tonight, and it was here at a very tricky track, Iowa. He had a great race all race long. You were definitely one of the most consistent drivers out on track, which you really needed to be, especially with this loose setup. And you kept it in the mix all race long. And then we saw in those last 2 runs, you were able to break into the lead, and you were leading the field on those last 2 restarts, and were able to hold off Will, and it came down to 200ths of a second on that last lap coming to the finish. Came absolutely down to the wire. But on the outside, you were able to get the win over Will Witt to grab your 2nd win of the season. So walk us through your race. Walk us through how you were able to put the win together tonight. And, of course, walk us through that green-white checkered where it was such a close finish between you and Will.
The race was just crazy. I felt like I had consistent pace, but I didn't have fire off pace or long run pace. Definitely the best pace of the whole day. I thought it was Cody and Will. Thought definitely those were the 2 guys to beat. But luckily I was able to get in front of them. Cody missed his pit stop again, and Will had a little bit slow stop, so I was able to beat them both off pit road, get in front of them, and on the same tires with not a lot of laps, I was able to hold them off. Eddie was real fast at the beginning of the run. Same with Butchino. Cody, or not Cody, Colin and Matt, they're both up there. It was just a wild race, but yeah, definitely that end, that last 2 laps, that was absolutely crazy. We both were just pedaling it off of 4, and then the second both of us had it just pointing straight. We just put the hammer down and just side by side. That was definitely probably one of the closest finishes I've had. I think the only closest finish I've ever had was I was on the losing end was with Butchino at Las Vegas in the trucks a couple seasons back.
Now, I know 1, 2, 3 was Wasted Wages Racing tonight. I mean, everybody on the Wasted Wages Racing team just put on an absolute show. So how does it feel as a member of the team, your first year with Wasted Wages Racing and the Next Gens? I mean, just walk us through how it feels to just put together such a great race with teammates.
Yeah, they're all really good. We all kind of bounce off strategies with each other. We all, share each other's strategies, help each other out during the race. If somebody's a lot faster, we'll just let them go, not put up too much of a fight. Don't let them just go, especially at the end. It's elbows up with 20 to go, and that's just a rule that we have amongst ourselves. But earlier on the race, just try to survive to get to the end of that last 20. We were all on a team before, minus Matt, with when it was YXU, but I left for a couple seasons. Now I'm back, and it's just awesome.
It was definitely awesome to watch. Again, that finish was incredible. One of the best finishes I've seen, and especially at a non-super speedway. So before we let you go, Brian, is there any sponsors or shout-outs you'd like to thank for your win?
Oh, yeah, of course. I got to thank all the SCSRA admins for making everything work. You got David Hartney, you got Devin Pacino, you got Eddie doing the graphics, you got Sylvan doing the points. He's doing them right now, I'm sure. Also want to thank you up in the booth, doing an awesome job. Everybody over at Intensity, Josh on Tuesday night, State, and running the whole thing. I got to thank all my teammates. Got to thank Cody Moore, Colin Willems, Will Witt, Matt Scott, the other one. And also I got to thank my beautiful wife for letting me do this. Not sure if I already thanked that or not, but if I didn't, or if I did, then I'm thanking her twice. Also my kids, hopefully they're watching again this week. And also Gil's Dump Truck Service and Pizzeria, the fastest dump trucks in the Northwest.
Well, again, congrats on your second win of the season, and hopefully we might see a couple more throughout the season. So good run tonight, Brian. Have a great rest of your night.
Yep, thank you, sir. You have a good one.
Thank you. All right, that will do it for tonight's Blue Ridge Auto Group 165. One more time, I want to give a big congratulations to Brian Nudie. Want to give a big thank you to all of the league admins who run this league. Brian Nudie, David Hartney, Eddie Moore, Sylvain Seagoin, and Devin Butchino. Thank you to all of them for all that they do for this league. Without them, this league would not run as smoothly as it does. So thank you to all of them for all that they do. Want to give a big thank you to series sponsor, Dev Sports Cards, for coming back again as the title sponsor of the Wednesday night series. Want to give a big thank you to Blue Ridge Auto Group, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, for being a partner for the SCSRA Next Gen Series. And big thank you to Butt Kicker for partnering with Intensity Broadcasting. I want to thank you, the viewer, for watching tonight. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Kick. Also, check out our Twitter page, Intensity Broad 1. We're trying to reach our goals of 2,500 followers on Facebook, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, 1,000 followers on Twitch, and 100 followers on Kick. Make sure to check out our Twitter page, Intensity Broad 1. We're always dropping polls and interacting with our viewers on there. Make sure to check out our web store, intensitybroadcasting.com. There you can find merchandise from your favorite broadcaster, your favorite drivers, your favorite leagues, and so much more. Make sure to check out all of our Intensity Broadcasting merchandise. Atley Wiese Racing merchandise. We got our auto racing novelty items, our driver collections, our lifestyle collections, our team collections, and our league collections. Especially make sure to check out the SCSRA section of the league collections and pick up an SCSRA t-shirt. Comes in 5 snazzy colors and sizes small to 5XL. Next week, we have double races, 2 30-lap races at Watkins Glen next week for the SCSRA's second annual road course doubleheader. If you are a road course fan, you are not going to want to miss that. 60 laps, 2 races of next-gen road course action. That is going to be an absolute barn burner. This league has some phenomenal road course racers, and we only get to showcase it one race a season, but that one race is always really exciting because, again, like I said, this league, Brian Nudie, Cody Moore, Devin Butchino, this league has some phenomenal road course racers. So I'm Atley Wiese on behalf of the entire Intensity Broadcasting team. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Over and out.